Do you want to save 5 hours per week just by adding some AI to your scrambled eggs? That's basically what I did. I'll explain how on today's episode of AI Curious. My name is Jeff Wilser, and I'm here to give you a quick, snack-sized rundown of the latest AI news. But before we get to the headlines, I want to share my personal experiment with AI this week and why I think it's something almost anyone can do. Now, for a while, I've known that my workflow for this very podcast, the one you're listening to or watching, has been pretty clunky. It's not good. It feels like I was doing everything last minute. As you can imagine, there are a ton of small, laborious, tedious moving parts that go into podcast and YouTube production. And I was scrambling to make it all happen on a set schedule while also doing the rest of my work. I knew I needed to create a more structured workflow, a solid process, one that balanced all of the tasks throughout the week. But I was kind of putting this off. It was importance, but never urgence. So the other day I said, F it, let me walk the walk and have AI help me with this. And I want to do it right now, like literally the first thing in the morning. So the other day I used ChatGPT 4.0's advanced voice mode. And while I was cooking my breakfast, I sort of casually told it all about what I want to do. Almost stream of consciousness, I explained that every week I release 2 podcast episodes. On Monday, a short snackable episode, that's the one you're listening to right now. And then on Thursday, a longer deep dive, an interview with a thought leader in the AI space. And while I was brewing my coffee, I listed out in detail all of the steps I needed to do for every episode, from early research to post-production to creating social media clips. Along the way, I checked in verbally to make sure it was following along. It was. I then asked the AI to create a weekly schedule for me, smoothing out all the tasks so no one day felt burdensome. It did this. It made a couple of obvious mistakes here and there, but I quickly corrected it, all verbally, while I was buttering my toast. And in this conversation, we sort of iterated, moving one task from Thursday to Wednesday, maybe rejiggering Friday a bit, and so on. Again, it wasn't perfect out of the gate, but it gave me a good kind of leg up. And then, when I sat down to eat my breakfast, I busted out my laptop, and there in the ChatGPT app was a transcript of the verbal conversation I just had. I then asked ChatGPT to create a list day by day of every task we had created. I then copied and pasted that list into Excel with a little formatting cleanup, and boom, I had my weekly process flow. I was happy with it. Then for extra credit, I asked ChatGPT to pretend it's the executive producer of my podcast and to critically analyze this workflow. What steps am I overlooking? How should I improve it? Once again, it delivered the goods and gave me some good ideas. Anyways, I share this example because I think the best way to learn AI is to just use AI. And the voice feature lets you do this during otherwise dead time. Okay, that's the case study. Now on to our next segments, 3 quick things of AI news this week. Quick thing number 1. As always, OpenAI has been very busy releasing a flurry of features in the past several days. There's Canvas, a new format for writing and coding, which lets you write and AI edit side by side. So imagine your Word documents on the left side of the screen, then you do your AI magic to it on the right side. Early reviews are positive. But for me, the bigger demo was something that's not yet live. An early glimpse of AI agents. OpenAI had a demo where the chatbot, over voice, was able to call someone, like an actual human being. The chatbot sounded like a human, and then the chatbot ordered a batch of strawberries. So it's not ready for prime time right now. Sam Altman thought that agents would become mainstream in 2025, but it's an interesting glimpse of the future. As the CEO of Neat Prompts, Adish Sheth, tweeted, "Voice to action is the next big thing in my opinion. Think something, say it, watch it get done, living a Tony Stark life." Quick thing number 2, and I'll make this very quick, but it's worth noting that the Longshoremen Strike, which briefly dominated the news, is only kind of resolved. The longshoremen had 2 bones of contention: money and then concerns over automation, which at heart is about AI. Now, labor and management agreed. They did get this one thing done. They agreed on only one of the two issues, the money, as longshoremen got a 62% bump in pay. The automation, though, is a far tougher nut to crack, and my guess is a longshoremen have little chance long-term of winning that battle. And more importantly, I think this is just a bit of foreshadowing for the many, many, many wars we'll see between labor and AI. Quick thing number 3. By now, you've probably heard about Google's NotebookLM, where you can magically turn a PDF or a book or articles into a podcast, and it sounds like crazy, crazy good. Like a high-quality NPR podcast, way better than something like AI Curious quality podcasts. This has captured mainstream attention in a way that most AI had not in quite some time. Barron's called it a, quote, ChatGPT moments. Now, here's why I think this is so interesting, besides kind of the obvious cool factor. Like the tech itself isn't really a breakthrough in new AI capability. It's not a frontier model. And we've had like text to voice for a while, but it's an extremely clever way of using AI to bring new functionality to other mediums. It's worth remembering that the AI genie has only been out of the bottle for less than 2 years. And in a sense, people are just now starting to think of surprising things to do with it. This is almost more innovation in UI and interface and overall application as opposed to the guts of the engine itself. And that is just getting started. What will we see 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now? For low-hanging fruit, for example, if this got everyone excited about this kind of audio, insert PDF, get an audio podcast, it is only a matter of time before you get video podcast, a video creation, insert an article, and boom, here is a movie about what you inserted. That is coming, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, who knows? Anyway, that's it for AI Curious Snack Size. Please subscribe if you have not already. Rate it 5 stars, forward to a friend, all that good stuff. Thanks again, and see you next time.